everyone, what's up guys, CB here. Today we are doing a deck profile for the new Link format, and it's about a couple of days before Code of the Duelist comes out. By the time this video is uploaded, I think it'll probably be Monday, and Code of the Duelist comes out in the US this Friday. So, this is my SPYRAL deck profile, so what we're going to do is go over monsters, and the rest, and the extra deck. So, pretty simple stuff. So, first, one SPYRAL Sleeper. SPYRAL Sleeper is one of the main boss monsters of the deck, for those who didn't know. To summon him, you have to banish 3 SPYRAL cards from your graveyard, so monsters or spells. And his abilities, you can target a SPYRAL card you control, and up to 2 cards your opponent controls, and destroy them. But if he's destroyed by battle or card effect sent to the graveyard, destroys as many cards on the field as possible. And if you do, special summon SPYRAL Super Agent from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So, he's a really great card, just big power monster. You can equip him with cards like Last Resort, or, Last Resort. You can't use Big Red on him, he can't be special summoned. So yeah, he's a really great card, and there's also these, Sleeper, what's called the Sleeper combo that you can use to bring him out, and I'll go over it at the end of the video. And you can actually still do it in Link format, Link monsters or not. So, yeah, so let's go into the next monsters. Next, 3 SPYRAL Super Agent. I like to call him, even though he only has 1900 attack, I like to call him a boss monster, just because he can get some really high attack if you have a lot of drones or folding arms equipped to him. His thing is like you declare a card type, and if you call it right, you can special summon him. And then if he is special summoned by a SPYRAL card effect, so basically his ability, or Big Red, or you'll see Ancient or SPYRAL Gear Drone, you can pop back row. So that's really handy. And I think he's probably one of the best monsters in the deck. Alright, so next we have 3 SPYRAL Quick Fix. This guy is one of your searchers for this deck. He's really handy in making link plays, Xyz plays. He's part of the Sleeper combo. He just adds a lot of key elements to this deck. So basically, when he's normal summoned or special summoned, you can add a SPYRAL card from your deck to your hand, and this card's in your graveyard, and you control SPYRAL Super Agent. You can discard 1 card special summoned from your hand, but banish it when it leaves the field. So, he has a really good effect, but actually you can avoid the banishing by, so you special summon to the field, but then if you go into an overlay, into an Xyz summon, rank 1 Xyz summon, and then remove him, he'll actually go to your graveyard, so it's really handy having him. Next we have 3 SPYRAL Gear Drones. This guy basically allows you to make your Super Agent special summon as like a guaranteed. Also, by tributing him, you can increase a SPYRAL monster you control. You can target a SPYRAL monster you control, and then increase its attack by 500 for each card your opponent controls. So that is really good. And then also you can banish this card and 1 SPYRAL card from your graveyard to add a Super Agent from your graveyard to the hand. So another great card. You can use this. You can use this in Xyz plays, Link plays. Some Synchro plays, not really. He's better for Xyz and Link plays. So, pretty good card in the deck. Most people like to run less. I like having 3. I think 3 is a good amount, especially with some certain combos you can do later, which I'll go over. 1 SPYRAL Gear Resort. This card is the equip card in the deck, and I like to keep it at 1 just because I feel too much clogs the deck. I feel 1 is a good amount, 2 just too much. So basically you can target a SPYRAL monster you control and equip this monster from your hand or field to that target, and then when it's equipped to a monster by this effect, the equipped monster cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Also, your opponent cannot target with card effects. So basically protects you from Zodiac Trident. So if your opponent has a Trident, they have to destroy this before they can destroy your monster that this is equipped to. And then once returned, if this card is equipped to a monster by this effect, you can send 1 other card you control to the graveyard. The equipped monster can attack directly this turn. So that's really handy, especially if your Super Agent has really high attack, and then basically you can just attack directly. So next we're going to go into So that's all for the Spiral monsters. Next, we're gonna go into like the hand traps and just other stuff. So first card, Blackwing Gofu the Vague Shadow. I like to use this card in this deck for a simple combo, and that can actually be used in it's actually being used in most Link decks, especially, and this works with Blackwing Link. And actually, that's something I'm trying to make. So basically what you do is you have an empty field, special summon Blackwing, go through the Vague Shadow, and then you bring 2 tokens to the field. Use a token to make Link Spider. We're going to pretend that's Link Spider. Pretend it makes Link Spider, and then you make another Link Spider, and then you use all 3 of these to make a Decode Talker. So it's really cool. I like having go for the Vague Shadow in this deck. Again, I just think 2 more of this, or more Gofus might, yeah, I don't know, I've barely tested using more, but I may get 2 just to see how it plays, but I think 1 is a good amount, because if you just have, if you have monsters on the field and you just draw a Gofu, it's just a dead draw. Alright, so next for our hand traps, 3 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. I think this is a necessary, especially just popping cards on the field. Also, funny thing, I actually have used him as a tuner, so not necessarily as a hand trap. And I'll go over that once I get to the extra deck, and I'll explain my reasoning. But yeah, so makes a great tuner, and also just his sole purpose as a hand trap. And then finally, the 1 Maxi, just for special summoning. I'm actually considering of side decking Maxi instead, and if I were to add another Gofu, I'd probably replace it with Maxi, but if Gofu gets limited, then I'm considering of adding either Spiral Tough or Spiral Super Agent to my deck. I'll think about it. So, that is the monsters. Next we're going to go into the spells and traps, and heads up, it's just all spells. 3 Spiral Resorts. This is the field spell of the deck, so your opponent cannot target other Spiral cards you control with card effects, so that basically means monsters and spells, if I'm not wrong, because it doesn't say anything, it doesn't say strictly monsters. Once per turn, you can add 1 Spiral monster from your deck to your hand, and then once per turn during your end phase, shuffle 1 monster from your graveyard into the deck or destroy this card. So, this is a really good field spell. You want this on the field, but also, when you have this card on the field, you want to be able to send monsters to the graveyard. And with this deck, it's not difficult to send monsters to the graveyard, especially with the sleeper combo, which again, I'll go at the end of the video, but it's just not necessary. This is just a really great card. And then also 3 Terraforming, just because Terraforming, and you can search out your Spiral Resort. Next, we're running 3 Spiral Gear Big Red. This is the Premature Burial, or Call the Haunted of the deck. Basically, you target 1 monster in your graveyard, and except Sleeper, because you can't resurrect Sleeper. Special summon, if you do equip this card to it, it cannot be destroyed by battle, and you can only activate 1 of these once per turn. These are really handy, especially you use them in the Sleeper combo, and they're just great for bringing back your Spiral monsters. And also, if you bring Super Agent back with Big Red, you can activate Super Agent's effect if you haven't used it already. Next, 2 Spiral Gear Fully Armed. This is the equip spell of the deck, and you can equip it to Spiral Super Agent, Spiral Tough, because he's considered Spiral Super Agent, or once Double Helix comes out, you can equip it to Double Helix. So, basically, the equipped monster gains 1,000 attack, and if it destroys your opponent's monster by battle, you can banish both the opponent's destroyed monster and 1 other card your opponent controls. When this face-up card in the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target a Super Agent in your graveyard and special summon it. So, just overall great. Again, I think this is good at 2. More just clutters the deck. Next, we have 3 Instant Fusions. You're probably thinking, why are you running Instant Fusion in Link format? I just think that you need Instant Fusion. Like, I feel Instant Fusion is a staple for any Spiral deck, and 3 is the perfect amount. And I'll go over to the fusion stuff you'll be doing later. So that's that. Next, we have another staple for a Spiral deck: 3 Machine Duplications. This you'll be using on your quick fixes and your drones to special summon to the field, and then making your Link plays, your Xyz plays, Synchro plays. Or even just if it's drone, you can tribute all of them and just get a bunch of attack boost. I wouldn't be surprised if because of spirals this card got limited or semi-limited, or even I feel Bam would be pushing it, but like this is a staple for this deck. The amount of times this has been useful. Next we're getting into some of the other last couple cards. So we have one reinforcement of the army to search out your Spiral Super Agent and bring him to your hand. One Raigeki, because board wipe, and you need board wipes. Really handy. Great card. Next we have two Twin Twisters. Again, getting those monsters to the graveyard, and also, if there's one thing this deck kind of falls to, it's back row. So you really do want to get rid of your opponent's back row. Once Code of the Duelist is officially out, I may switch this out for Heavy Duster Storm. I'm still thinking about it. I don't know. We'll see. Next, To My Body is a Shield. This card's just great to protect your monsters from being destroyed. Now, this doesn't protect them from like Bottomless Trap Hole, but still really handy. And then finally, 1 for 1. 1 for 1. Just great for special summoning, setting up your plays. Like, you can, if you have a Super Agent in your hand, you can use the 1 for 1, discard Super Agent, and then you can special summon Quick Fix, add a drone to your hand or any other card to your gear card to your hand, and then you can use, like, say if you had Big Red, you can use Big Red to resurrect Super Agent. Like, you can just make some great plays with this. Alright, so that's the main deck. I'm going to go over the extra deck first before we go into the side deck. So, for your fusions, 1 Sea Monster Theseus and 1 Thousand Eyes Restrict. Sea Monster Theseus because of the sleeper combo, which I'll go over at the end of the video. And then Thousand Eyes Restrict just because for Xyz plays, you can use him. I like to think of him as a mini kaiju. Not really, like, he's not as great as kaijus, but he's really useful, and I like having him just to get rid of opponent's monsters. And for the synchros, now this may be shocking. So I like to run 1 Coral Dragon, 1 Ancient Fairy Dragon, and 1 psy-framelord Omega. So let's talk about this. Coral Dragon because of the sleeper combo. Ancient Fairy Dragon, sleeper combo. If you know Spiral deck, you know what this is about. And then also psy-framelord Omega. So I really do think that psy-framelord Omega works with this deck. Mainly because of Quick Fix and Drone's abilities. The way I found to being able to synchro summon psy-framelord Omega is you can either do Instant Fusion, bring out Sea Monster Theseus, and then use a machine duplication on either Quick Fix or Ancient Gear, or sorry, I keep saying Ancient Gear, Spiral Gear Drone, or you can either you can either like special summon Super Agent to the field with his ability, and then if you have a Quick Fix in the graveyard, you can discard a card to add Quick Fix to the field, and then you normal summon a Ghost Ogre to be able to summon psy-framelord Omega. And also, what's so great about psy-framelord Omega is his ability of being able to, so say he's in the extra monster zone, and then you banish a card from your opponent's hand, and then when he returns, he goes back to your main monster zone. So that's really handy. Also just clears way for your extra monster zones. And then also just during, I think it's your opponent, yeah, during your opponent's standby phase, you can add banished cards back to the graveyard. So that's really handy. And that also just works with Spiral Resort. So next we're going to be getting into the Xyz plays. I play 1 Ghost Trick Duelahan for lowering my opponent's monster's attack points. 2 Sylvan Princess Sprites. I may cut it down to 1. I just like having Sylvan Princess Sprite. Just a great card. Basically, because this deck is mostly spells, you can detach an Xyz material, excavate the top right of your deck, and there's a good chance that it will be a spell. And also, if it's a monster, you can do that. Like it won't be a problem if it gets sent to the graveyard, because this card works well with the graveyard. Or this deck works well with the graveyard. And then one Castel, the Sky Blaster Musketeer. He's kind of a staple. I don't really use him a lot. I'm kind of considering side decking him, but oh well. I just don't usually have either 2 super agents on the field, and even then, they're usually equipped with either fully armed or something, so I don't really use them as often. And then number F0, Utopic Future. Utopic Future is just a great card to have, especially since you have a lot of level 1s Xyz plays, like you have Ghost Trick and Sylvan, or Sylvan and Sylvan even works. This card's just great because during the battle phase, if you attack an opponent's monster, you get to take control of their monster until the end of the battle phase, and also this card cannot be destroyed as long as it has I'll rephrase that. If this card is to be destroyed, you can remove an Xyz material and it will not be destroyed. So that's a really great card. Next we're going to be getting into the links. So we have 2 link spiders just for Gofu. Really great. Yeah, I like them. I may consider taking them out once I find a substitute for Gofu. And once Code of the Duels comes out, there's definitely going to be more Link monsters to use, which I'll get actually to just a second. And then 2 Deco Talkers. Deco Talker is just pretty great. You can bring them out really easily. Like if you have Quick Fix or Drone, use Machine Duplication, instant Deco Talker. You can do the Gofu combo I mentioned. They're just a bunch of good ways to bring out Deco Talker. And then if this is, right now this is currently a 14 card extra deck. If I can add any card right now, I probably would add a Mrs. Radiant, especially because, like, last time I checked this deck, literally every monster that you normally would be using, or almost your main monsters you'd be using, they're Earth types. Like Super Agent's Earth, Quick Fix is Earth, Last Resort's Earth. I mean, you wouldn't use them though. Maxi's Earth, but like you wouldn't use those as. But I feel Mrs. Radiant is just a great card, and I think it would work really well with this deck. And then also, if Mrs. Radiant's destroyed, you can add an Earth monster or itself and actually add it back to the extra deck. So that's really handy. So yeah, so that's the extra deck. Another thing. If I could take out a monster, I'd probably, like with the new extra deck monsters, I'd probably either drop Castel and maybe, no. I'd probably drop Castel and maybe Thousand Eyes Restrict to put in either like 2 Mrs. Radiants or 2 Mrs. Radiants, and then maybe the Link Spiders to add Firewall Dragon. So that's the extra deck. Next we're going to go into the side deck. I don't have a lot of cards in the side deck, and again, side deck's up to personal preference. But these are just some of the cards I got, and these not, warning, these are all in like different sleeves and whatnot. So Spiral Tough. I do like running Spiral Tough just because of his ability. So you can't special summon him, or he doesn't have an ability when he's special summoned, and you can't special summon him by his own effect, but you can, like, Big Red, you can special summon with that. But so he becomes Super Agent while on the field or graveyard, and then once per turn you can declare a card type, monster, spell, trap, and target a card your opponent controls, reveal the top card of your opponent's deck, and if you call it right, you can destroy the target. So this is a really handy card. You really only do need one of these. Like, if I had this in the deck, then I'd probably make Castel more often, but I think this card has some good synergy with like its counterpart, Spiral Super Agent, mainly because they kind of work like hand in hand. So if you don't have a drone and you already have Tough on the field, you can activate Tough's effect and target a card. If you call it right, you get his ability, and then you'll be able to easily special summon Super Agent and use his effect. Or say if you get it wrong with Tough, you then know what the card is, so you can easily special summon Super Agent. Or if you try to special summon Super Agent, you get it wrong, you can then use Tough's effect and call it right. So they just work kind of back. They kind of cover each other if they mess up with their abilities. So yeah. Next we have one Spiral Master Plan. In any Spiral deck, you really only need one Master Plan. I don't even have a lot of mission cards, just because Just, I don't really have many. But basically, once per turn, you can add a Spiral Mission card from your deck to your hand, and then if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add a Spiral Resort and one Spiral Monster from your deck to your hand, except Spiral Master Plan, and then you can only use the effect of Spiral Master Plan once per turn. So, a really easy combo with Master Plan, post Circuit Break, and I'll go over the Circuit Break combo. But really easy combo with Circuit Break is I don't have Foolish Burial currently in the side deck. I should have it in there. I'll put it in there actually after this video. But use Foolish Burial, you send Master Plan to the graveyard, and then you can use Big Red to resurrect Spiral Master Plan in defense position, can't be destroyed by battle. And then with Circuit Break, once that comes out with Spiral Double Helix, you have Double Helix. He can activate his ability, and if you call it right, you can special summon Master Plan to the field. And yeah, I just think it's pretty cool. What was I about? I was about to say something. Oh, also, another really great Synchro monster is, and it's kind of random of me talking about this, and it's actually level 10, is, I think it's I'll put the picture of the card on the screen, but it's like Leo, giant. He's like a giant nature line. He has 3,200 attack, and basically his effect is he can't be affected by card effects until main phase 2. So I feel, actually, just realizing this, if you were to have Double Helix on the field, you could special summon Master Plan, normal summon Ghost Ogre, and then you have an instant Leo. So that's really cool. Probably not going to do that though. Just thought of that now as a cool little thing. Next, we have 3 Zaphion, the Time Lords. These cards are, this monster is really great. If you don't know about Time Lords, if you control no monsters, you can normal summon them without tributing, and then they each have their own little effects once they are summoned. When this card, and then, yeah, so if this card has battled, basically what you can do is shuffle all spell and traps your opponent controls into their deck. So basically clearing back row, not destroying, but clearing back row. And then if this card is destroyed, you can draw a card, but then once per turn during your standby phase, you can shuffle this card into the deck. So what's really great about, I think what's great about this card is just if you normal summon during your turn, like say you have a dead hand that you can't really do anything, but you have this card, and you control no monsters. So basically you can normal summon this, you can attack if you want to, clear your opponent's back row, but then also during your opponent's turn, they don't want to attack this if they want. They won't want to attack this because then all their spells and traps will go back to their deck. So that's pretty cool. And also by destroying it, they're giving you a plus by allowing you to draw a card. Next, I like to play 2 Goblinberg in my side deck, just mainly because he's a warrior, and then you can add him to your hand with reinforcement of the army, and then also just special summon. So you normal summon him, you can special summon just basically anything to the field, and then like most of the monsters in this deck are level 4 or lower, so you can make Xyz plays, you can bring Goblinberg to the field, normal summon Goblinberg and special summon with Quick Fix or Drone or Super Agent, so it's really handy. 1 Spiral Gear, Utility Wire. This card's really great because if you control Super Agent, target 1 face-up card your opponent controls, place it on the top of the deck, and you can only activate once per turn. This card is really great because it actually works on extra deck monsters, so if your opponent has an extra deck monster, use Utility Wire, send it back, and they basically have to get all the materials they need again to bring it back. Next we have 2 Spiral Mission Rescue. I feel this really is the perfect number of mission rescues that you need. What this card does is, so basically you destroy it during, like other mission cards, you destroy it during your 3rd end phase after activation, and then once per turn you can target a Spiral monster in your graveyard, return it to your hand, and you can actually do that during your opponent's turn, believe it or not. It doesn't specifically say that, but I've done online duels with this card, and I was able to add one of my Spiral monsters to my hand during my opponent's turn. Actually, I don't know, maybe that was the program, but if that's true, you can do that. You can banish this, and then you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target a Spiral monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And then you can only control 1 Spiral Mission Rescue. And that's kind of why I have it at 2. But overall, pretty good mission rescue, pretty good mission card. If I were to get any other mission cards, I'd maybe say get like 1 Assault, because you really only need 1 of those. Like, I feel more is just a bit much. And I can't think of any other mission cards. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. That's my Spiral deck profile. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button down below for more deck profiles, especially with Code the Duels come out. I'd definitely like to make more deck profiles for you guys. I was actually thinking of, if you guys know, I'm a big fan of Blackwings, so I kind of want to try and make a Blackwing deck with links. I feel it's possible, especially since Blackwing's ability to kind of flock to the field, and then you can use Gofu to the Gofu combo to make a Deco Talker, which again, I feel that may be a limiter or ban, but we'll see. So anyways, guys, like, favorite, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.